welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating, highly specific spiritual lecture. It's this deeply intriguing piece of source material that blends really abstract philosophy with some incredibly bold predictions about our immediate future. We're going to look at the exact framework the speaker lays out for an impending global paradigm shift, what they believe is happening right now to human history, and most importantly, the specific, everyday actions they claim we absolutely must take to thrive in this new world. Okay, let's dive into this. Right from the jump, the speaker establishes this sweeping core premise, declaring that the era of research and growth is over. According to the lecture, humanity has essentially finished its growing phase. The answers to life's biggest questions, they've already been generated. So now we're entering the era of organization. We're no longer meant to just blindly seek out new things. Instead, our task is to organize the immense amount of knowledge that's already out there. This philosophical foundation really sets the stage for everything else we're going to cover today. So here's our roadmap for today. 1. Turning point of new era. 2. Power of 3 books. 3. 2025 future predictions. 4. New wealth and longevity. And finally, 5. 100-day Hongik 4 Act. Section 1. Turning point of new era. Exploring the overarching philosophy of a global shift. To really wrap our heads around the wild future predictions that come later in the lecture, we first need to understand how the speaker views this exact moment in human history. The source material repeatedly refers to our current time as a turning point. The speaker defines this as the critical moment when humanity transitions away from mere physical and intellectual growth and into an era of synthesizing and organizing everything we've learned so far. It's presented as a massive cosmic shift. It's not just some passing societal trend. It's a fundamental change in how human beings are supposed to operate on this planet. The lecture suggests that if you don't adapt to organizing your knowledge and sharing it, well, you simply won't survive the coming transition. Section 2. Power of 3 books. A specific directive for the new era. Because if the goal is to organize knowledge, the speaker gives a very literal, hands-on method for how we're supposed to do that, and that method completely revolves around the number 3. The speaker instructs absolutely everyone listening to write a minimum of 3 books. Now, they're super clear on this. You don't write these books to create a New York Times bestseller or to make a quick buck. Honestly, you might not sell a single copy at first. The entire purpose of writing these 3 books is just about organizing your own mind, clarifying your thoughts, and creating your own intellectual content based on these teachings. Now, you might be wondering why the speaker demands this so strictly. Well, they claim that going through the process of writing these books fundamentally elevates your quality of thinking and totally shifts how you view society. But more importantly, it leaves a lasting name and legacy. The speaker asserts that in this new era, only people who produce true works are going to be recognized. In fact, they go as far as to state that as everyday people begin publishing their organized thoughts and gaining respect, the famous historical figures of the past will just kind of fade into the background. So, leaving a legacy of creation is framed as the ultimate key to surviving and thriving in this new society. Section 3, 2025 Future Predictions, Rapid Fire, Technological and Societal Prophecies. And this brilliantly illustrates where the lecture pivots from personal development into some rapid-fire future predictions. The speaker confidently lays out an exact year-by-year timeline. They claim that within 3 years, they will personally enter major broadcasting, starting out locally and then rapidly expanding to the world's top global media outlets as a teacher to humanity. By the 2025 to 2027 window, they predict they'll be a globally recognized figure. And right alongside this massive societal awakening, a major technological leap is going to occur: the sudden emergence and mainstream adoption of flying cars over the next decade. Now, the claims about these flying cars are incredibly specific. The speaker states, neutrally but very firmly, that flying cars capable of traveling over land, sea, and even mountains are essentially technologically complete right now, today. According to the lecture, the technology is just sitting there, undergoing some final finishing touches, just waiting for this new era to fully dawn before it's unleashed on the public. They predict that in just 10 years, looking up and seeing cars fly will be completely normal. Section 4. New wealth and longevity. Radical changes in wealth distribution and human lifespan. So how does this huge technological and spiritual leap actually affect our everyday lives? The lecture draws a really stark contrast between what they call the old era and the new era. In the old era, businesses could just hoard wealth and live purely for the money. But the speaker warns that this kind of behavior will now lead to absolute ruin. They use an analogy of separating the wheat from the chaff, basically warning that greedy businesses and individuals holding on to massive real estate or money out of pure selfishness will have it all forcibly taken away by nature. On the flip side, in the new era, those who genuinely contribute to society will be rewarded with wealth, deep respect, and dramatically extended health. Which leads us to one of the absolute most striking assertions in the entire lecture. The speaker claims that future medicine will evolve to the point where lifespan is actually a commodity. But, and here's the catch, it's tied directly to your social value. If you're a socially respected individual who actively contributes to the world, you'll be able to go to a transformed hospital, ask for a quote, and quite literally purchase a 10-year lifespan extension. The logic presented here is that society desperately needs its most respected contributing members to live longer, so the universe and the economy will step in to facilitate this incredible medical service. Section 5, 100-Day Hongik 4-Act, Daily Homework for the New Era. Okay, so with all these grand changes, like flying cars and buying extra decades of life on the horizon, what exactly is the average individual supposed to do today? Well, before detailing the practice, the speaker briefly defines who they believe they're actually talking to. They refer to their followers as the descendants of heaven and Hongik Ingan. In this framework, these are enlightened leaders, deeply rooted individuals whose ultimate purpose is to broadly benefit all of humanity through righteous action. This isn't just about your standard self-improvement. It's about actively preparing to be the moral and intellectual leaders of this brand new era. So the crucial point is this exact sequence of 4 questions. This is the Hongik 4-Act that followers are strictly instructed to memorize and recite. 1. What must I do for my neighbor? 2. What must I do for society? 3. What must I do for the nation? And 4. What must I do for humanity? It's kind of like a continuous expanding ripple of social responsibility, right? Starting from the person right next door and then extending all the way outward to the entire human race. Now, the instructions for this practice are incredibly strict. The speaker mandates that followers recite this proudly, every single morning for 100 days immediately after waking up and washing their face. And they emphasize absolute, unwavering commitment. You must do this proudly in your home, even if your family members object. In fact, the speaker boldly claims that if your spouse hates it, you should literally let them leave. However, they do promise that if you commit to this 100-day practice, it will naturally spread to your children, it'll bring immense blessings to the household, and it might even miraculously heal physical illnesses. From organizing your thoughts into books to reciting daily mantras of social responsibility, this lecture paints a truly vivid picture of a world on the brink of total transformation. It challenges its listeners to stop living purely for themselves and to start preparing to be leaders. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to consider today. In the coming turning point, what will you leave behind for the world? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the world around you.